We live in a very noisy and chaotic world. Most of the time, we become part of this noise without even realizing it. Sometimes we respond, and sometimes we are forced to remain silent. But the outcome often isn't what we hope for. With this in mind, we decided to explore an important topic. We want our reactions to both expected and unexpected situations to reflect true strength. Yes, in this world, there are countless people who talk endlessly. Noise comes from everywhere, on social media, in the streets, in families, at work. Everyone is trying to prove something to each other. Everyone wants to show they are right. And with every unnecessary word, with every needless response, a person takes one step away from their own greatness. If you truly want to be strong, if you want to stand out, you must learn one thing: how to remain silent. This is what Stoic philosophy teaches. According to Marcus Aurelius, silence is not a sign of weakness, but a sign of control. Silence is a sign that you are not ruled by your emotions, and that you don't need anyone else's approval to feel your worth. Because every time you remain silent, you strengthen your inner power a little more. In fact, silence is the deepest response. Silence is self-protection. Silence is moving forward calmly, even when you are right. In this video, based on the wisdom of Marcus Aurelius, I will show you how remaining silent in 10 specific situations can give you real power. Each situation will teach you how to remain resilient in the face of emotions. Each moment will bring you one step closer to inner freedom. Keep watching to discover why you should stay silent in these 10 situations and uncover the hidden power of silence. If you're ready, let's begin together. First situation: when you are falsely accused. Imagine this. You are at your workplace. When something goes wrong, instead of taking responsibility, your boss or a higher-up tries to blame you. They even do this loudly in front of others. At that moment, a storm of injustice rages inside you. You want to prove your innocence. You want to shout and defend yourself. But instead, you remain silent. You control your words. You don't give in to anger. You simply stand there calmly and listen. Time passes. After a while, those around you begin to understand the real situation. Your boss investigates, asks questions, and eventually realizes that you had no part in the mistake. You were right. By staying silent and patient, you preserved your dignity. And here's the interesting part. Now the boss calls you, but he doesn't know what to say. Under the weight of the injustice he inflicted upon you, he struggles to find words. He acknowledges you not just because you were right, but because of your greatness, your dignity, and your calm demeanor. Silently, he holds a deep admiration for you. With your silence, you forced him to feel ashamed. You achieved a silent victory. Because sometimes the most powerful response is no response at all. So what advantages does silence bring you in situations like this? Because you don't react with anger, you protect your inner balance. The more you stay silent, the more your self-respect and patience grow. People begin to judge you not by your words, but by your actions. When you stay quiet, you can think more clearly and avoid making wrong decisions. You understand that time and truth will eventually stand in your defense. Most importantly, you preserve your dignity. Without lowering yourself, without engaging in arguments, you demonstrate your true greatness. Second situation: when emotions are running high. At these moments, a storm rages within you. Words swirl in your mind, racing to come out. At the peak of your anger, everything becomes blurry. You can't even fully understand what you're saying. But never forget, words spoken in moments of rage often turn into the heaviest regrets later. A single moment of anger can plant seeds of regret that you may carry in your heart for years. Marcus Aurelius once said, "The root of anger lies in mindless speech." Imagine this. In a moment of high tension, you lose control. Under the pressure of emotions, you say something without thinking, and those words, born from a moment of anger, will come back to haunt you. A sentence you say to someone, a word you protest, or an expression you never truly meant. They can all later put you in a difficult position. Even if the issue gets resolved, you can never fully take back your words. Once spoken, words may fade from lips, but they linger in memories. Those who heard them, those who love you, Even you yourself, you'll keep recalling those words, and all of this will turn into regret and discomfort. You won't be able to find peace. You might seek out the person to apologize, but do you know if they will accept your apology? No matter how sincere your apology is, sometimes there's no way back. You'll ask yourself, was it worth it? That's why in such moments, silence is the wisest choice. Don't let anger defeat you. Instead, drown your anger in your silence and focus on making the right decision as quickly as possible. Silence will buy you time, and during that time,
Instead of trying to take back hurtful words or beg for forgiveness,
you'll learn to value the people around you. Third situation, when someone tries to provoke you. Sometimes people deliberately try to provoke you. They attempt to corner you to trigger an emotional reaction. Imagine you're at work. For one reason or another, you're facing deliberate provocations from a boss or a colleague. Maybe they want to belittle you, to anger you, or to pressure you unfairly. If you lose control at that moment, you might react to their behavior. But what do you do instead? You stay silent, you protect yourself, and you give no importance to their actions. You don't respond and you don't try to explain anything. How is your behavior perceived in their eyes? For a moment, they will keep trying to provoke you, but when they see your calmness, they'll realize they can't get what they want. You simply deflect their provocations with your silence. When they receive no reaction to their attempts, they won't get the response they were expecting. Maybe they wanted you to explode in anger, retaliate emotionally, or openly criticize them. But when you stay calm and give no emotional reaction, their entire goal loses its meaning. Thus, your silence becomes the strongest answer you can give. They will feel the weight of their own behavior. Because the more you stay silent, the more they realize how meaningless their actions were. Sometimes these provocateurs even end up feeling ashamed, because no matter how hard they tried, you didn't fall into their petty trap. In the end, they become more aware of their own weakness. What happens next? They start to analyze their behavior, because your lack of reaction will force them to reflect more deeply. They will hesitate to provoke you again, and as you keep answering with silence and strong will, the respect others have for you will grow. Fourth situation, when arguing with foolish people. Sometimes the most exhausting moments in life don't arise from serious matters, but from pointless arguments with people who lack reason and experience. These types of people are everywhere, those whose words have no value, who only waste the time and energy of others. They try to drag people into unnecessary debates, strengthening their position not through logic, but through endless, meaningless talk. Marcus Aurelius said about such situations, "To argue with a fool is to become like him." This is a vital wisdom. Arguing with a fool will only make you behave foolishly too. When someone keeps insisting on their baseless ideas without any intelligence or self-awareness, you must not fall into their trap. Imagine, a fool keeps asking you questions whose answers are obvious to any reasonable person. They continue to pester you, trying to explain the obvious. In that moment, you have two choices. Either you get dragged into the argument and waste hours, or you stay silent and protect your wisdom. If you choose not to engage, you are actually showing respect for yourself and your time. It also exposes their foolishness even more. But if you respond and argue with them, you lower yourself to their level. You won't change their way of thinking, but you will diminish your own value. That's why arguing with foolish people is nothing but a waste of time. Fifth situation, when someone's anger threatens you. Sometimes people turn their inner emptiness, failures or fears into anger directed at others. They think that by intimidating you, they can gain control. By making you angry, they can dominate you. But you must remember, their fire weakens in the face of your calmness. Imagine, someone raises their voice at you for no reason, gets angry, even uses insulting words. Sometimes they use exaggerated gestures to show their rage. Their goal is clear, to drag you down to their level, to force you to react. Maybe inside you feel a pressure to defend yourself. But what do? You stay completely calm. You neither raise your voice nor match their rhythm. You simply watch them with a calm, cold gaze. You might even say in a very quiet tone, "We'll talk about this later." And then you leave. What happens to that person? They boil with anger internally but are unable to affect you. Their fire can't touch you. Their rage collapses in the face of your calmness, making them look ridiculous. And that's when you realize, true strength is not in losing control, but in maintaining it. Because anger is temporary. It fades after a few minutes. But the words you say or the actions you take during those angry moments can leave you with lifelong regret. By staying silent, you protect your value. And remember, true greatness is not found in noise, but in silence. Sixth situation, staying silent on topics you're not sure about. One of a person's greatest strengths is the ability to stay silent when they don't know something, just as much as it is to speak up when they do. You are not obligated to answer every question. Giving your opinion on every topic doesn't make you appear smarter. On the contrary, speaking without thinking makes you seem shallow and unserious. Often, people try to speak on subjects they know little about, just to draw attention or to make themselves stand out. However, speaking on a subject you're unfamiliar with can ultimately lead to losing your credibility. In trying to create a fleeting impression, you risk your long-term respect. Silence, on the other hand, sends another signal. When you stay silent, you communicate. "I'm thinking deeply about this topic. I'm here to understand, not to answer." This makes you appear wiser and more humble. Seventh situation, maintaining your silence when faced with unfair and rude criticism. In life, there will always be people who talk about you. Sometimes the criticism will be constructive and helpful. Sometimes it will be biased, groundless, and rude. But in these moments, remember one thing. Unfair and rude criticism cannot bring you down if you respond to it with silence. Every reaction is a value you give to the other party. When you respond to unfair criticism, you bring the critic closer to your level. But when you stay silent, you maintain your level and do not lower yourself to theirs. This is a message. I see you, but I don't even need to respond to you. Silence in the face of unfair criticism is the work of a great soul. Great souls don't listen to small voices. Eighth situation, maintaining your calm when rumors spread around you. People will always talk. Sometimes even strangers will spread rumors about you, trying to portray you not as you are, but as they wish. But in such moments, you need to remember, if you know yourself, if you know the truth, there's no need to speak. Because the greatest response of a person true to the truth is their silence. No matter how fast rumors spread, the truth finds its place quietly and patiently. As you remain silent, people are forced to look at your actions. As you continue quietly, the words disappear, but the results you show remain. If you try to answer everything, you'll only magnify the rumors. But when you stay silent and respond through your actions, behavior, and character, this becomes the strongest defense. Because time always reveals the true person. Silence is not weakness. It is a sign of self-confidence and self-awareness. Those who fear rumors speak, while those who are not afraid let their work speak for them. Remember, rumors are like wind. They blow, pass, and vanish. Ninth situation, maintaining silence when you win, even if you could humiliate someone. Sometimes in life, there comes a moment when you win. Perhaps in an argument, perhaps in a project, or at some stage of life. The people in front of you may have mocked you for years, not believed in you, and told you that you couldn't do it. And now you've won. You have a choice: to use the sweetness of your victory to belittle them, or to maintain your level with generosity. At that moment, it can be tempting to say a few bitter words, to embarrass them, or to throw your victory in the face of those who hurt you over the years. But you must remember, true victory is not in boasting, but in generosity. If you use your victory only to belittle others, you lower yourself to their level. In fact, by maintaining your silence, you magnify the strength of your victory. Because the strongest people never rub their victories in others' faces. They stay silent, and everyone understands their level on their own. So even when you win, stay silent. Because silence can sometimes be the loudest victory. And finally, The 10th situation, even when you lose hope, remain silent. Sometimes life drains all your energy. Your plans fall apart, the things you believed in crumble, and the paths you've been fighting on seem hopeless. The outcome you hoped for doesn't come. A voice inside you says, maybe it's time to stop. In such moments, everyone has something to say. Everyone has a way to offer. You might feel the urge to make quick decisions, change something, or ask for help. But in reality, what you need the most is silence. When you lose hope, the strongest decisions are born in silence, because as words increase, thoughts become muddled. Silence, on the other hand, allows you to dive into your own depth. It saves you from floundering on the surface and leads you to the root, to the calmest place in your soul. To be stoic means, even in the greatest storm of life, to remain as calm as a sea within yourself. In that stillness, you rediscover yourself. Where words end, your inner strength rises. In moments when you lose hope, silence gives you the following. It protects you from hasty and wrong decisions. It creates the opportunity for you to feel your strength again. It allows you to see more clearly where life is leading you. Because even in the darkest moments, silence is a light. Yes, silence is an art. Everyone can speak, but only the wise know how to remain silent. At the moment when life tests you with hardship, silence is your invisible shield. As Marcus Aurelius once said, true power lies hidden in silence. Thank you for watching until the end. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel and share your thoughts in the comments. See you again soon.